me ask you a question about being great at something in general. What do you think is the number one thing that stands in the way, thank you, of us being great, of us being great at anything? What do you think the number one thing is that stands in the way of us being great at leadership or something else? You say yourself? Okay. Confidence. All right. Those are all good answers, all wrong, but all good answers. They're not wrong. They're just not the number one thing. The number one thing is not what you think. See, I used to work for an internet company, and I wanted to go full-time into professional speaking. That was my goal. That was my dream. Raise your hand if you have a goal or a dream. Raise your hand if you want to do anything in life. So I went to the vice president, young guy, new guy to the company. I said, look, John, I'm going to be leaving because it's always been my dream to be a full-time professional speaker. He said, that's your dream, Craig? I said, yes, it is. He said, well, that's great. I really admire you for having one, but you can't leave. And I said, well, wait a minute. What do you mean I can't leave? He said, because we've been thinking about it, and we're going to raise your salary up to this. Now, salary means the same thing as the VA, right? You see my dilemma? I said, look, that's really flattering, but this is not a financial decision. This is about my dream. I'd call this a dream decision. He said, okay, I understand. I really do. But how about if we raise your salary up to this? I said, this is not a financial decision. This is a dream. Do you know he raised it 4 times? I kid you not. He kept saying, we're going to raise your salary to this. I said, this is not a financial decision. This is a dream decision. He said, okay, Craig, how about if we raise your salary to well above 6 figures? I said, dreams are overrated. Come on now. 6 figures? That's a lot of money back then. That's good money today. Fill up my gas tank for a week on that kind of. I said, but John, listen, before I say yes, I got to go home and talk to my wife about this. So I went home. Oh, wait, what happened? Yeah, exactly. So I went home to my wife. I said, honey, I just don't know what to do. What should I do? What should I do? And my wife looked up at me with her big brown eyes and said, take the money, fool. That's kind of true. But if you had been sitting beside my wife and me just a few minutes later on our black leather sofa with the chocolate chip cookies baking in the background, you would have heard her say something that can absolutely change your life. I know it changed mine. You talked about this a little bit earlier. She said, Craig, this is all you've ever talked about. Ever since we met, this is all you wanted. I don't care how much they try to compensate you, Craig. Your dream is not for sale. That's deep, isn't it? That's deep. Yeah, because you know what the number one thing is? Most people think that the thing that gets in between them and their goal of being great at something is some bad obstacle, like a lack of time or a lack of talent or a lack of opportunity. That's not it. The number one thing that gets in between you and your goal is not something bad. It's something good that we settle for. Sometimes the enemy of the best is the good. So I have a question for you. Are you too good to be great? Are you too comfortable in your routine good life to ever keep stretching and reach the great one? I doubt it, because you wouldn't be in this program if you wanted to. But don't let the good get in the way of the best. There's always room for improvement. So I looked at my wife, I said, see, girl, that's why I married you. My dream is not for sale. That's what you said, right? So I went back in there the next day. I looked at Vice President in his eyes, and I was firm. And I looked him directly in his face, and I was bold. And I said to him, my wife said my dream is not for sale. But a lot of great things happen because of it. Not because there's anything special about me, but because there's something very special about my wife told me. Don't let the good get in the way of the best. Don't let the good get in the way of the best.